And it's basically my own experience with Mendeley. It has really helped me a lot in organizing my references. While I was undergoing my master's, I didn't have this experience, so I had to manage my references myself. And in the last 4 years thereabouts, I've been using it, and it has been so good. So I'll be sharing some of those things with us. To start with, can I ask, does anyone have a primary understanding of this software? Maybe you could just drop a message in the chat box. If you have used it before, or maybe it's your first time, I want it to be as interactive as possible because it's okay. I'm going through the chat now to see if there are responses. Anyone? You've had an experience? Okay, only on the surface. All right. Okay. You don't know the other functions. All right. Yeah, little experience. Oh, Vignash never used. Vignash never used. Okay, that's good. That's good. So basically, this training, it's going to cover from a beginner's perspective to an expert perspective. And we have a very comprehensive PowerPoint presentation, which is going to be made available after this training. So one of the things we are going to do today is we'll start from the installation to the from the download to the installation and how to use and to get familiar with some of the menus and tools. So that's what we are going to be doing in the next 2 hours. Should you have questions, please just drop it in the chat section as we go through this training session. So for this training, I will be going back and forth from the slide to Mendeley, from Mendeley to Word. So I want to believe that everyone has a Word, Microsoft Word software. And for those who do not have the Mendeley, I will try as much as possible to ensure that you download and install while the training is going on. So it is my hope that at the end of this training, everyone would have a sufficient knowledge about Mendeley to help you manage your references. All right. I want to start with this. It says, these are some quotes I got online. And it says that for every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned. Going back to my experience, when I didn't understand this referencing manager, I had to arrange the references one by one. And usually when I went back to my supervisor for corrections and he removes a line from my thesis, it affects the whole thesis. I have to rearrange. I don't know if anybody has that experience before, whereby you have to rearrange the whole thesis just because a statement was corrected. So if you can spend just a minute organizing, it's going to save an hour. So that's that about that. Then it takes as much energy to which as it does to plan. So if you have this software and you know how to use it, it's going to really help you to plan your thesis very well. Usually, most times, I don't spend more than 5 minutes organizing my references with Mendeley. So these are the things that I hope that everyone is going to benefit from as we go through these training today. So just a brief introduction. Mendeley is a free reference manager and a social network that helps you to organize and collaborate with other online to discover new research. So apart from being just a referencing tool, it also gives you opportunity to actually, have a database of information that is particular to your area of expertise. And that we'll also be trying to explore today. So like I said earlier, we are going to start with the installation of Mendeley. Now, how do I go about installing Mendeley on my desktop? So the first thing you need to do, maybe I should ask, am I very audible and clear? Okay. And I hope my screen is very clear as well. All right, thank you. Okay, so the first thing is wherever you are now, can you just switch to Google and just type install Mendeley, and let's see how that goes. So usually you get something like this. So once you have that, can you just click on the button, download Mendeley Reference Manager for desktop. When you do that, you should have something like this. So basically, it takes you to the Mendeley website. Now, on the website, there are some information that you may want to take into consideration. If you look at on this part of the website, you have the sign-in option. So if you are a user of Mendeley, what you just do is you sign in. But if you have not used Mendeley before, like some of us, you are expected to create an account with them. Then once you have done this, then you can download the software. You can also do it the other way. You can download the software before creating the account. But I would advise that you create the account first before downloading the software. Because when you download the software, the password and the email you used for creating the account will be the same data that you supply to the software at the point of registering. So I will run through this, then maybe during our first question and answer session, I'm going to pause a little bit and allow people to download and install the software. So I will proceed. So if you download, if you click the download button, you have options depending on the kind of system you are using. Maybe the Macintosh, Linux, or Windows. For me, I'm a Windows user. That's why it's bringing this out. Download now for Windows. So when I click on that button, the automatic download option starts. And usually it goes to your download folder. So in the download folder, you have a Mendeley file that you can actually execute. So once you click on this file, you have something like this telling you that Mendeley is about to install on your system. Now there are two options here. You could either go with either of the options. The first option is, okay, do you want to install so that anyone on this computer can use? The second option is, okay, only for me. So basically, you can go with any of the options. It doesn't really matter as long as it is your system. So you can go with any of those options. So once you click on install, then you have something like this telling you that it's actually installing. And at the end of the installation, you would have something like this. So usually, by the end of that installation, you have that. I would pause a bit. Okay, so let me go to Mendeley itself. So you have Mendeley. Okay, so usually after installation, this is what you are going to have. You have it installed on your desktop. It's usually on the desktop. So mine is coming up now. Please, if I'm too fast or if if my voice is not audible, you can just draw my attention to that, please. So after installation, when you execute the Mendeley desktop, you would have something like this. It's coming up. Okay, you have something like this. So this is what the Mendeley Reference Manager looks like. It's a very easy to use software, and it doesn't really require so much expertise. It took me just about maybe 30 minutes to understand most of the functions I need to write my papers and all that. So I will go back to the PowerPoint presentation, but basically this is what appears on your screen after the installation. For me, I have quite a number of materials on it, you can see. And one good thing about Mendeley is that it could take as much as you have. There's no limit to the number of papers you can have. As you can see, I have quite a number of them, quite a number of them, a lot. So basically, once you create your account, it creates a cloud for you whereby you deposit all your literatures. So I can easily come to anyone at any time to make a reference to them. All right, so I'll go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So I think we've done this, we've gone through this, and we've gone through this as well. We've gone through this. So now for a first-time user, if you observe, when I was opening my Mendeley, I didn't get this interface. Why? Because I'm not a first-time user. So for a first-time user, you would have to supply your email. That's the email you use for registration and your password. So once you do that, then it takes you to your Mendeley page. That's your desktop page on the Mendeley cloud. So once you enter in your password, you would have a page like this. This is quite similar to what I just showed you now. So this is quite similar to what I just showed you now. So you would have this, and you can easily play around with the menus and some other information. Now, for those who have used Mendeley before, this was the old Mendeley desktop. You know, Mendeley has evolved over time. So this was the old Mendeley desktop. Based on my experience with Mendeley, I actually started using Mendeley as far back as when this desktop, this was the main desktop. And this was a bit challenging because you had to do so many things yourself. But with the integration to the Mendeley cloud, it has been so easy now. So for those who are familiar with Mendeley, you will see that this is the actually old Mendeley desktop, while this is the new Mendeley desktop. So much of what we are going to be discussing today, it would be on this interface, not this old interface, not this old interface. For those who are just joining us, we are trying to look at how to download and how to register as a user for Mendeley. So basically what you do is just go to Google and type the word install Mendeley and just follow the procedures. Now, I want to take us through some of the menus because these are things that you'll be using while you are trying to load Mendeley with some of your literatures. Now, if you look at the top bar, that's the Mendeley Reference Manager. Let me go to my Mendeley. Okay. Yes, I'm referring to this part of Mendeley. If you look at the top bar, you have some, I think about 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, these are the menus that you need to actually work with as you go through Mendeley. Now, if you click on the first one, it's going to give you an information about the software, what it does and all that, and the current version that you are using. Now, in my case, the version is 2.84. It's possible that you may have other versions, but basically it's still about the same thing. Now, if you click on this, you get an opportunity to extend this. Yeah, I would like to explain this to us. Now, one other benefit that you get from Mendeley is that you can prepare your work on Mendeley and transfer to other reference management softwares like Zotero, like EndNote, and BibTeX. So you can prepare a work on Mendeley and just transfer some of those things you have done to EndNote without any issue. I've done that a couple of times for some of my friends, and it actually worked. So that's that about that. So if you want to do that, you come to the file, you export. You click on the ones you want to export, and you export to a format that is readable in EndNote. Then if you these are just for formatting, edit, copy, and paste and all that. And very important amongst this is the tools button. Now, for this tools button, you have 3 options. The first one is that you can install Mendeley on your desktop, that's on your browser, such that you don't have to go to the Mendeley site every time you need information about any article. So that is what you do with this. Then the second one, this is also very important because it is with this button that you use to install Mendeley in your Microsoft Word. So once I click, for instance, let me click on this button. It's going to attempt to create a Mendeley site for my Word. Okay. 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 I'm going through the chat for yes. Okay. I cannot. Okay. So we have a question here. My friend helped me to get both type of Mendeley. Which one is better? For me, I think the new one is better and it's much easier. The second, there's a question here in the chat section. I cannot see the desktop manager. Okay, I would take you through. Okay, you mean you cannot see the Mendeley on your desktop, right? Is that Nurul Fatia? Yeah. Is that what you mean? Then let me see. I'm trying to look at the questions in the chat box. Okay, someone is asking, have you downloaded and installed the desktop? Oh, it says I have, but I'm only seeing the slideshow on the screen. Okay, what I would do is maybe Nurul Fatia, I hope I got the name right. Can you turn on your mic and let's interact as regards the difficulty you are having?
Oh, hi. I'm Fatia.
Hello. Yeah.
I'm seeing only the slideshow you are talking about. I thought you were showing your desktop manager on the screen. Is
Okay.
it
You
is
want to
it
see
correct?
my you want to see my desktop? That's the Mendeley on my desktop, right?
Yeah, I thought you were showing us that because I don't know because I'm just seeing the slideshow.
Yes, I said earlier that I will be switching from the slideshow to the
Mm-hmm.
Mendeley.
Yes.
So I'm still on the slideshow for now, but
Oh,
I
you're
would
not.
move. Yeah, I will move to the Mendeley very soon. So you can just
Okay.
hang around. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Any other person with maybe a question or maybe a concern? Okay, someone is typing. Abdul is typing. Maybe I just take his question, then I proceed again. Okay, while I wait for that, okay, I will try to switch. I'll try to, this is my Mendeley. I hope you can see my screen, right? Okay. Stop sharing and I share window screen. Now, can you see my Mendeley screen?
Yes, I can see that.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So this is what you have when you set up, when you click the Mendeley on your desktop. So you have this as the interface to work with. So before the question, I think I was trying to explain the buttons on the menu. So you have here the Mendeley reference manager. It tells you about the software. For me, I'm using the 2.84 version. So this is the most recent version. and which I also recommend for this session. Someone asked which one is better, the older one or the newer one. Now, based on my experience, this is better. This is better because it has quite a lot of improvements from the previous one. Now, that's that about the first button. When you click on this button, the file button, and you click on the export all, basically what this helps you to do is to export references from Mendeley to other referencing managers. For example, we have Zotero, we have EndNote, and we have, I think, Writeful. Yes, these are reference management softwares. Now, the good thing about Mendeley is that you can create a work on Mendeley and easily transfer to other reference managing softwares without losing your references. So that you can do here. Basically, what you do is, for instance, if I want to transfer maybe these 3 references, I just come here and I say, okay, export. What kind of format? Is it BibTeX? Is it EndNote? So I click on any of the formats I want, then it automatically creates a file for me. So this file, I just go to the other software, what's it called, import it to that software, and the references comes out immediately. So that's one of the benefits of using a Mendeley. With Mendeley, you can actually work on Mendeley and view on other platforms. Now, this button is just for formatting, to cut, to copy, to paste, and all that. While this one, it's also very important. Now, there are 3 tools here that you would need as you get your literature and all that. So for the first button, that's the Install Mendeley Web Importer, it helps you to have a Mendeley shortcut on your web browser, such that if you need any information, you don't have to go through typing the software, going to the site again. It automatically creates more like a bookmark on your desktop. So that's that. Then for the second one, it helps you to install the Microsoft Word Mendeley site, such that you can easily synchronize your library, that's the library on the Mendeley Reference Manager, to your Microsoft Word. I was trying to do that before the question, so I just continue with that. So when you click on this, for instance, yeah, it takes you to this place. So you just it's a free version of the software. So once you click on get it now, it directs you back to Word. So I think I've just been notified that there are some questions. Maybe I just go through the questions once again. Okay, so there's a question here: how to update the newer one from the older version? Yeah, it's very easy. Just download the newer version. Download the newer version, and just make sure that when the same login details you used in opening the older one is the one you use to sign in into the newer version. That's for MD Sohag. I hope I answered your question. So you download the newer version and you will log in with the same login details for the older version. So that way you are going to retain all your references. You're going to retain all your references. I hope that answers your question. I'm looking at the questions again. My Mendeley does not have the reference manager. Oh, this is strange. Do you want to talk? Let me understand what you're trying to say. That's Asma.
Hi, Mr. Abiola.
Yeah,
I have the latest Mendeley downloaded as what you mentioned just now, the same
yeah,
interface, the latest
yeah.
one. But somehow or other on the top, when you were showing the Mendeley Reference Manager with the button, file, tools, export, and help, all
Yeah.
those on the top, I don't have that on my Mendeley.
Okay, what I would
So,
suggest you do is, can you
is that
share your
right?
screen? I stop sharing and you share your screen.
Okay, sure.
All right.
Um, Can you see my screen?
It's coming up. Yes.
So here, so I do not have the reference manager like you showed just now on the top here, the button here.
Oh, yeah. The reason why you are experiencing that is that you are accessing Mendeley from the website.
I see.
Yeah, you're not accessing it from your desktop. So what you do now is, can you go to Google
Okay.
and try to install the software on your
Is this
PC?
the one? Is this one?
Yes, download now for Macintosh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So when you do that, you would
Okay.
have it on your desktop.
Okay.
All
right.
right. Okay, that
Thank you
settles
so
that.
much. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
And I think okay, Dr. Vicky also, I think you can help us with the links for each of the softwares, the one for Macintosh, the one for Linux. So you can just share the link with them in the chat box. So I'll go back to so I'm trying to install the Mendeley site in my Word now. Going back, I'm coming from here. We were trying to look at the tools that you can work with. So what I did was to click on the install Mendeley site for Microsoft Word, and it brought me here. So if you haven't used it before on your Word, what you just do is click on this button. But before clicking, make sure that your Word is not active. You switch off your Word temporarily. For example, oh, sorry. I need to share my screen again. I totally forgot. All right. So when you click on this option, install Mendeley site for Microsoft Word, it brings you here. So basically, it brings you here, and you're expected to download from this site. Now, but before downloading, make sure that your Word is not active. In my case now, my Word is active, so I need to close it. So once you are sure that the Word is not open, then you click on this button, get it now. So automatically, I think it's going to open your Word. It's going to, okay, yes, then it brings you to this site and tells you to open in Word. So it's request for permission to open your Word. That's your Word document. So I'll allow you to open my Word now. I would allow you to open my Word. Please don't hesitate to drop the questions. So once it opens my Word document, I have something like this. I have a Word file with information about Mendeley. And for you to locate the Mendeley on your Word file, you come to References. References. Here we have Mendeley site. Okay, I hope that is clear to everyone. So when you're trying to install the Mendeley on your Word, you go through that process. You come to Tools, Install Mendeley site. It takes you to the site where you have the Word add-in. Then you click on the add-in. But before clicking on the add-in, make sure that your Word is not active. Because if your Word is active, it's going to generate a failure response. So usually what you do is you close your Word application, you click on the button, then it will request to open your Word application automatically. So that's the way it works. So that's that for that. Then if you have other information as regards maybe with the policies and all that, you can get that from this. So I will go back to the slide again to continue with so what I just did now, I try to explain some of these menus and their functions. Now, the other part is the top, the left corner of the screen. The left corner of the screen, you have something like this. You have the Add New button. You have the references. Then you have the collections on the top left part of the screen. So then when you move towards the lower right of the screen, you have this search and filter button. So that is what makes up the entire interface for the Mendeley Reference Manager. Now I'm going to take us through the upper left of the screen. So I'm going to switch back to my Mendeley. So you have this in this area. Now, each of these buttons, they have important functions. For example, if I want to add a new literature to my list of literatures, you have three options. The first option is that, okay, you download the material online. Then, using Mendeley, you will search for the material. Take, for instance, I have this paper, and I want to add it to my library. So I come here, let me close again. I want to add a new information that I files from computer. I just click on it. So automatically it's going to upload the file, and it will upload all information about the file. So if you look at it, this is the file I just added. This is the name of the material, parametrics, sensitivity, blah, blah, blah. The abstract, the informations about the DOI, and some other informations that may interest you. Then it also tells me the date and the time that I actually what's it called? More like added it to my file. So that's one way. The other way is to add the entries manually. Okay, this material is not online, but I have the DOI. I know the name. Is it a journal article or is it a conference paper? You can choose from these options. The title, you can type in the title, the list of the authors, then the name of the journal, and some other information. So once you do that, it would also automatically come up here. So just for this training, let me just put in something. Let's say Mendeley training, authors, Dr. Vicky, Abiola, journal, SV Academic Then year, that's 2023, pages from 1 to, let's say, 20. Volume 1, issue 1. As much as you have, just put the information there because it's going to use it to generate the citations. October, okay, it says numeric, that's 10. Day is 21. Abstract, training on the use of Mendeley. So I would just add, this should be training, sorry. So add entry. You see, this becomes an entry, Vicky Kumar, then my name follows and all that. So if you want more information, just click on this. It gives you what is the name of the article, the abstract, training on this, and all that. If I have a DOI, ISBN, I can include them. Now, the good thing is this, if at the point of putting in the entry, you don't have sufficient information, you can always go back to update the information. For example, I want to update the names. So I can add someone else's name. Maybe I look at someone in the group, or let me see, let me see, Nurul Fatia. Okay, I just had her as one of the authors. So you can change all this information even after you've created the entry. And that makes it very good in case maybe the item you have doesn't really have sufficient information as at the point you have it. So you can always update that to meet the required. So the third option is you can also import from a library. Now, I know that some of us, we are used with maybe EndNote, Zotero. So if you want to switch from those platforms to Mendeley, it's very easy. So what you do on that platform is you, for example, in EndNote, this is the format it takes. So you will save your referencing in this format, in EndNote format, then you import directly to Mendeley. I don't have EndNote. Maybe I can, I would try to get an EndNote source file before the end of the training. I can show you how it works. So if I have an EndNote source file that contains a list of references already generated by someone, I can easily import them into my own library. And it then makes it easier for me to actually reference. One other thing you could do, okay, that's that for adding items to your library. Now, this basically is just for sorting your library. These ones will show you the recently added ones. These are the ones I added today. Then the ones you read of recent. So this. Now also, if you are writing, for example, if you are writing a paper on a particular topic and you want certain literatures, you don't have to, you don't want to search a lot before finding them. You can make any of these ones your favorite by just clicking this button. Once you click on this star button, it automatically adds them to the favorite section. So if I come here now, it selects all of these as my favorites. So I don't need to start looking around for them and all that. So you can do that. Then also, if you want to keep a track of some of your publications, for example, when we are writing, we always want to cite some of the works we have done. So you can as well create a folder for that. In my case, these are some of my publications. So if I want to reference them, it's easier for me. I just go to my publications, click on any one, and just reference at will. So that's what, and this basically is just for the ones I've deleted in the past. The ones I've deleted. Now, at this point, okay, I don't know if there's any question before I proceed. Okay. All right, if you are following me, can you just do a screenshot of my screen? Okay. Okay, so I will go back to the slide. So that's what you have on this part. Then one other thing that I didn't touch was these collections. So if you are working on different topic at a particular time and you want to sort the library, you want to put all items that belongs to a particular topic in one folder. So you can create collections. You can create collections. In my case, these are some of the works that I've done in recent times: flexible pavement, my publications, recent papers and all that, TIO2. So for example, if I click on this, you see I have grouped some of my literatures with titanium and zinc oxide. I have grouped them, quite a number of them. So it's easier for me to just go back and check, oh, this is the one I want to. Now, I wrote a review paper some couple of weeks back, and these were the papers I used in that review paper. So at a glance, I can easily go back to check on any of them. So that's what use the collections to do. And it's quite easy. What you just need to do is type in the name. For example, let's say Mendeley Training Mendeley training. So automatically it creates a group. So I can then add information to this group, to this collection, And the last one is also a group. If you are working with maybe a team of researchers, you can create a group such that if anybody needs information from that group at any point in time, they can always get any of the materials in that group. So I'll go back to this just to coordinate things. So basically that's the menu, and that's the how to go about the icons on the page of the Mendeley referencing manager. So navigating through literatures and documents. I think I touched a little bit of this earlier. Now, to navigate through your documents, there are two ways to go about it. You can do that on the Mendeley software, that's the desktop, or you can do it using the add-in in your Microsoft Word. So if you want to make any modification, you want to check information about the literature, you can get that information right from the Mendeley desktop, or you can as well get the information from the Mendeley site in the Word environment. So I'll just show you that. Okay, let me go to my Mendeley first, the first one. So if I want to get any information about any paper, this is one of the papers I just installed today. You can get information, and you can also make notes. You can make notes. Take, for instance, okay, on this paper, if I have this paper, okay, so this is the link to this paper. So it takes me directly to the paper. So I don't really have to disturb myself about, okay, and I get information about the paper directly from my Mendeley desktop. If you need a paper, you can just view the PDF. And if you want to download, you can proceed to download. So I don't really advise downloading so much because it's going to make your library very heavy. So for me, I just try to access the papers online. So that way I can reduce the disk space on my system. So I'll go back here. So if you want to access another paper also, just the same process. Now for this, you can as well use this icon, get the PDF icon. Okay, it was unable to obtain the PDF. Okay, maybe I try to regenerate it by clicking this icon. The reason why it didn't get it is because it's been a long time since I actually added this to my library. So I need to refresh it. The moment I refresh, then it gives me a new link. So with this link now, I can access it. This is the paper. So if I have any information I want to get from the paper, I can easily get from here. So that's how to access your literature as far as Mendeley is concerned. So you can have a number of them as you wish. Let's look at this, for example. If you observe, I don't have access to the PDF now, but by clicking this, I look up for it in my metadata. Then it provides me the link. So with this link, I can access it. I don't have to go through. Okay. So another way to do that is you come here Now, for articles that are not in your library, you can search for them also online. You come here, search for articles online, then it takes you to the Mendeley website. So, for example, let's look for something on maybe the use of Mendeley. It brings in so many things, so many things. But preferably, if you have the name of the journal you are looking for, just type it in into that search icon, and it's going to bring out a list of items that are quite similar to what you want. So you have to go through to see if it is the actual one. And once you decide that, okay, this is the one I want to use, then you can just add it to your library from here. For this, the reason why you don't, for this, you cannot, usually what I do is I try to view them before adding. So for example, let's look at this. I view the PDF. Is this what I want? So it's taking time. Okay, while I'm doing that, can I check if there are questions? Please ask your questions, ask your questions. Presently, we are trying to load the library with literature. I think there's an issue with that paper. It didn't download. So let's look for another one. Training on, okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's see this. So apart from Google Scholar, apart from Scopus, you can also use Mendeley to source for literatures because it has quite a large amount of information in its database. So the one I clicked on actually downloaded. So this is what the paper looks like. You may want to go through. If it is what you want, then you just add to your library. To add to the library, you click on this, add to library. So then you go back to your desktop. You see it's already in my library. Training on the utilization of desktop. There are times in which it would not come immediately. So what you do is you try to synchronize your library with the cloud by clicking on this button. Then it updates your library. Now, one other thing I should let you know is that whatever you do here actually reflects in your Microsoft Word. So if you come to the Microsoft Word, usually this is what you have, Microsoft, okay, for the sake of clarity, I open a new document. All right, so this is what you have on the Microsoft Word page. You come to references and you have Mendeley's site. Maybe I should ask, how many of us have actually added this to our Word tab? If you have been able to add Mendeley's site to your Word, can you just signify in the chat box? If you have not, maybe I can assist you in doing that before we proceed to the next discussion, because we would need that a lot for the referencing. Anybody having challenge to add the Mendeley site to the Word? Yes, please, you can talk. In case you have questions, we can open the mic to interact. I don't really like it. It's as if I'm just a so we can interact. Maybe I mention names, okay. Asma, have you been able to add it to your Word? That's the Mendeley site add-in.
Sorry, Mr. Abiola, I missed that part a bit because I was focusing on the technical parts that you were showing us just now. So I was like finding my ways how to insert Word Mendeley into Microsoft Word. Can you like repeat it again, the process a little bit? I'm so sorry.
No problem, no problem. So I'll just go through that again for the sake of those who are just joining. So what you do is, by now, I want to believe everybody has Mendeley on their desktop. Escape. So you come to Mendeley. So mine is on. So I just come here, Mendeley. You go to Tools, then install Mendeley site for Microsoft Word. Okay. Once you click on that, it brings you here, right? So you wait for this to turn blue. Yes, now it's blue. Get it now. You click on this button. So it tries to take you back to Microsoft 365. Now, before you open in Word, make sure your Word document is not active at the moment. So I will try to close mine now. Don't save. Okay, now I'll just tell it open in Word. So it's trying to open my Word document. Yeah, my Word document is open now. I would come here, references, because it's a referencing managing software. So it groups it under references. Here you have it. Here you have it. I hope that explains how to, what's it called? Bring the add-in into your Microsoft Word environment. So new, for every new document, if you go to the references, you always have it here. So once I click on this, it creates a smaller section for me to cite and all that. Usually for first-time users, it will request you to sign in. So basically what you do is you provide the information that you used in creating the account, you sign in. Let me see, let me try to sign out. It's taking me back. So yeah, for a first-time user, this is what you have, get started. So you click on get started. Yeah, I have about 3 accounts. So I will just, for the sake of this training, I think I was using this. Okay, confirm. So for a first-time user, you have to provide all this information. Okay. So once you do that, then it brings the Mendeley site add-in. I hope it's clear now for everyone. Yes, in some versions of Word, it actually automatically adds the add-in to your Word. But in some versions, you would have to initiate the process by yourself. I think I once had that experience also. I once had that experience. Okay, so I haven't done that. This is what we have now. So I will just go through these also to help us to better understand it. So this looks familiar, right? If you go back to the Mendeley desktop, let me go, all references. Okay, so this is the Mendeley desktop. That's the one on your desktop. And this is what you have when you come to Microsoft Word. So you have virtually most of the information, all references, recently added. So these are more like my subfolders and all that. So it's also appearing here. You can easily work with any one of them, depending on what you are doing at the point of writing. Then the next thing is citation settings, which is also very important. One of the wonders or beauty of using Mendeley is that you have a lot of styles pre-installed in the software. You have a lot of styles pre-installed in the software. For example, if I want to change from APA, that's American Psychological Association, to any other style, I can easily do that with just a click. So you have quite a number of them, You can even search for other styles. For example, Journal of Chemistry. Let me just, Journal of Chemical. It brings, so this actually makes it easier for you to work. So you don't really need to, take for instance, if I write a paper for a particular journal and it was rejected, and I want to submit in another journal that has a different format, I don't need to change my format again. With Mendeley, I just come here, click on the one that I need, and automatically it formats the whole thing to the style of that journal. So I will still come back to this. I'm just trying to run through. Then you can change the language also from, usually, I think you have English US and English UK and some other languages as it pertains to you. And here you get other information. Usually the most important here are these two, that's the insert bibliography and the update from library. So if you add any information to your library, usually I always recommend that you come to your Word environment to update your library. So usually before starting, before using the software, I always update my library just to be sure that all my recent information as regards a journal, everything is present at the point of using the software. So that's that. I will go back to this just to see what I've not touched. Okay, I think yeah, questions and answer practice 1. So it's time for us to ask questions on the things that we have done so far. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. It might not even be what we have done, maybe some of the challenges you have had using Mendeley. Let's, in the next maybe 10 to 20 minutes before we go into the second half of the training. So please, I want to implore that we switch on our mic and ask questions. Thank you very much. Okay. Is it for every Word document we need to insert the Mendeley site, or is it only one time? Yeah, it is only one time. Once you insert it once, anytime you initiate your Word, it is always there. The only challenge that you might have in some older versions, whenever you come to this Mendeley site icon, the only challenge I foresee is that, let me close this. I'll create. The only challenge I foresee is that whenever you come to the references and you click on this button, it may require you to sign in again. But I think in the most recent version, it automatically remembers your last login information, then it signs in automatically. You know, as at the point when I was switching from the old one to the new one, every time I came here, I had to, you know, sign in again, and it was a bit tiring because anytime I click on it, I have to sign in. But I think in recent versions, they've actually taken care of that. Once you click on this, it automatically links you to your library. So that's that. So it's only once. You only download once and you keep using as long as. Can you show again how to add the document online without downloading? How to add the document online without downloading. Okay. That is, you want to add the information, that's the literature, to your library without downloading. Yes, it's very easy. you come to the Mendeley Reference Manager, you come to the tools, search for articles online. Search for articles online. You put in the name of the article, for example, the use of fly hash in concrete. So it gives you different options. So I don't want to download. I just add to my library. For example, let me add this. I'll add 1, 2, 3. So if I go back to my Mendeley desktop, you see, I have all 3. And it's showing me the time I added them, 12:05. Now, if I want to get more information about the paper, I'll just click on it and try to see, okay, what's the abstract saying and all that. If you want to get better information, just click on this metadata. That's the lookup metadata by DOI. So by you clicking on this, it tries to update the information about the paper, the source, and where you can get information from. So I can easily come here. So this way, I don't have to download it on my system. I'll just access through Mendeley, get the information I need. Then I can go back to Mendeley to reference it if it's actually what I need. Okay, I think that answers that question. Any other question? Okay, any other question? It's time for questions. Any other question?
Dear participants, you are free to ask any questions if you have. Don't hesitate, please. Okay.
Hi, Mr. Abiola.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know how to give references when the material from internet, I mean, not from the journals or any paper.
Okay. Can you repeat the question again? I didn't get it clearly.
I mean, how to give references when I think on the materials is on the internet, only for the internet, not from the journal or any paper.
Yes. For a material that's on the internet, it's very easy. You would come here. Okay, let's look for a case study. Let's just look for maybe materials, editorials about fly hash. I want to look for something that is not a paper. Yeah. Okay. For example, this. Yes. This is a website, and it has information about fly hash, right? Yes. Now, the first thing I will try to do is, who is the author of this? Let's assume that this is the author, right? Jan Svad, right?
Okay.
And this is the title of the material, as it were. What is fly hash and why is it important? So what I would do is I'll get the name of the author, the title, then the link also. This link, I need to get those information. So I would come here and say add new. In this case, I want to add it manually. Okay. Now, this is an online article. So yes. I can come here to say, okay, a magazine article or a report. Do you get that?
Okay, yeah.
So once you click on this, then it tells you the title, in this case, I go back to the site. I'll copy and just come here. This is the title. Now, who is the author? The man's name again is, I think, Jan Zvad. So, come back to Mendeley. So, now what year? You need to find that also. So basically, just provide all the information that is necessary. Let's assume it was 2023, the city, maybe Chicago. Now institution, maybe the company or something. Then the abstract. So once you do this, you add it as an entry. Now, if you look at my library, it's already updated. The only thing I don't have here is the source. So I can as well still include the source by adding the URL. That's the this link.
Okay.
Okay. So I had it as a URL. So anybody that needs the information can easily access it through this. So if I want to reference this now, let me go to my, let me just, I will update my library on the Word. It's there, right? So
yes.
Fly ash is a pozzolanic material. So who says that? This guy.
Yeah.
Insert. Do you see?
Okay, now clear to me.
All right. So we are going to touch more on this, how to cite in tests and how to, so, but this actually solves, I think this answers your question, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. So we need more questions, practical questions, the challenges you've had, and it would also help me to identify some of the limitations of Mendeley. Everything in life has some limitations. Okay, can you explain a bit on Mendeley Web Importer? I saw people using it before. I'm sorry if you're... Okay, Mendeley Web Importer, it's just to make it easy for you to access files. I will go back to Tools, install Mendeley Web Importer. So get Web Importer for Chrome. So basically, it's just an extension that appears on your Chrome. It's just an extension that appears on your Chrome. Usually, whenever I sign in, whenever I'm on a page downloading, I would show you. Yes. You see this icon that is reflecting on my screen? It is because I have actually downloaded the Mendeley Web Importer on my Chrome. So it makes it easier for you to view the files in PDF. If I go to any site, this thing appears automatically because I have installed the web importer. So if I click on this now, it would source for the file and it would help me, it will make it easier for me to, get access to the file. So that's how the importer works. And in some cases also, you can also add to library using the importer. For my own, I already have it. So that's why it's telling me to remove. If you don't have it, it will tell you to add. So this is it. Usually this icon comes and web importer. So you can always add. I think I switched off some of my, let me see. I switched off some of my add-ins. So that's why it's not coming up. Yes, this is it. So this is it, the web importer. So if I switch it on now, it's going to come up. Whenever I'm on the site, downloading, maybe going through a paper, it will just bring more like a pop-up icon telling me, okay, do I want to add this to my library? I say yes, then it just does it automatically. Trying to see if so basically that's how it works. Basically it comes. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to, yeah, this is it. Usually when you're on any site, if you have the Mendeley importer, it's going to bring this icon. So with this icon, you can easily access the file and get a PDF version of the file and all that. So I think that answers that. Okay. Yes, Mendeley, yes, it auto-generates. We are going to do that in the second part of this training, which is going to commence in the next 4 minutes, thereabout. It automatically generates the references. Yes, it does that. It does that. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. The first thing is to prepare the library. That's what we are doing now. We're trying to prepare our library with some items. So once you have a library, then you can easily access the information from the library through your Mendeley site on the Word. So if there are no questions, I think I will just move to the second part of the training, which is actually citing from Word, citing from the Word document. So at this point, is it clear for everyone? If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, so far.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now let's go to the part that I think is going to benefit us a lot, and that is literature side. I think I touched this. I touched this earlier, but I will just go through it briefly. For me, I have an acronym I use for adding literature to my library. The first thing I do is search. I read, then I cite. So I think I've done this earlier. You can read if it has if the file in question has the PDF version online, then you can cite from the Mendeley site. So that acronym actually helps me. I search for the information I need. Once I get the information, I would add right there. Then I can read from my Mendeley desktop and I will cite using the Mendeley site on my Word. So I think I've touched this earlier, creating collections. So creating citations in Mendeley, which is the part I think many of us are actually interested in. So these are just a few examples. Now Mendeley has the capacity to cite as much as you want to, as much as you want to. For example, this is a section of my thesis, and you could see in this instance, I cited about, I think, 5 papers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And in this case, more than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it can cite as much as you want. And I think the only drawback to Mendeley when citing is that it is always preferable for you to put the citations at the end of the statement. Now, what do I mean by that? Look at this paragraph, for instance. You see, my citation in this case is coming at the end of the statement. Now, if you are the type who actually cites at the beginning of the statement, using Mendeley might be difficult, but there are ways to go about it, but it might be difficult because the default mechanism is that it is meant to be your statement, your citations based on the configuration of Mendeley is meant to be at the end of the sentence. But if you are the type that wants to cite at the beginning, like this statement, like I said, in another study, blah, 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 developed. So if you want to cite in this format, it might be a bit challenging, but there's a way to go about it. So I would show you that also when we get to the word part. So also you can have as much citations, you can have as much as you want. This is more like a chronological order of the citations. So you can as well achieve that with Mendeley. And someone asked, oh, is it possible to generate references? These references you are looking at was generated by Mendeley by itself. So it's just at the click of a button. Once you have all the information in your library, and once they are cited within the body of the text, you can automatically generate the referencing. And the good thing is this, if you remove any of these citations, for example, it will automatically update the reference list. So you don't have to go through what I experienced when I was writing my MSc thesis. I had to do everything one by one. It was very, 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 very challenging. So I would go back to the Word environment, and then I would try to, maybe I just open a file, create a copy. Okay, let me just create a copy. Create a copy, a fake copy. Okay. All right. So presently, the referencing style I used in this paper is the IEE style. Oh, what's wrong with my reference? It's not popping up. Okay, hold on. I need to close this. Let me just open a different file. Okay. So when you want to cite, this is what you would have in most cases. You would have your document to the far left, then you have the citation to the far right of your screen. So in this case, I have an error message. It says unable to update references. So I come here and just say update from library. It's taking time because I have a lot of literatures in my library. Okay, sorry, let me just close let me close. I think I have a lot of, it's taking time. Close, close, don't save. Don't save. Okay. So it's coming up. So usually when you want to cite, basically what you do is, for example, if I want to cite this statement, so what you look out for, first you need to look out for the journal you want to cite. The first statement talks about high performance concrete, so I can just look for, okay, high performance concrete. Now you place the cursor at the point where you want to cite, and you click on the one you want to cite. There are quite a number of papers on that. So I go with the first one and I say insert. You see, it would automatically insert the literature where I want it. So if I want to add more literature to this, what I just do is, for example, I want to add this literature. I'll click on it. Then I save changes. Is everyone actually following me? And is my screen visible? I would like to get a response. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So if I want to add more literatures to this, just to buttress the point, I can click on this. I can also add more, as much as you want, and save changes. You see, it would arrange it chronologically. That's from the oldest to the latest. That's 1998, 2012, 2020, which is the normal form of referencing. Okay, so that's that. And I think the other part is when you want to cite at the beginning of a literature. For example, I want to modify this according to, now, numerous efforts of blah, 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 blah. According to, okay, Smarzewski, you can, there are two ways to search for the literature. You can use the name of the author or the title of the paper. Initially, I used the title of the paper to search. I'm going to attempt to search with the name of the author now, Smarzewski. You see, it brings, that's if I know the name of the author and the material is in my library, I can use the name of the author to search for the material. So this is the paper. So I can say, okay, according to this author, I'll put the cursor where I want it to be. According to Smarzewski 2019, numerous efforts have been made. Now, but can someone tell me what's the problem with this citation as it is? Anyone? There's a problem with this citation as it is. If you send this out maybe for a journal or something, they would actually question something here. Yes, exactly. Only the year should be in bracket. Thank you very much for that. Only the year should be in bracket. So that's one of the limitations of Mendeley. Mendeley, like I said earlier, it was actually conceptualized to cite references at the end of the statement. However, there's a way to go about this. So what I do basically is you copy the name, right? You put it outside the bracket, then you delete it and you leave it as it is. So you can modify, right? But the referencing still remains. So this is the proper way it should be. Now, one thing you need to take note is that in case you switch to another style, this year will go back to the default. It will revert to the default. So before submission, what I always do is I always make sure I check all the references that were cited at the beginning of the statement to just be sure that it is in line with the right method of citation. Now, if you are working with this style of referencing, that is when you have the issues. But when you are working with the numbered style of referencing like IEEE, it's not really an issue because it's only the number that would come out. Okay, so these are some of the drawbacks or challenges you may have in using Mendeley, but it's something that you can always find a way around. For me, this is how I just find my way around it. So if I have another one, let's say according to Smazowski, and let me look at Adebanjo, that's one of my papers. Okay, one of my papers, this. So the same thing, I will just copy out my name, the name of the authors, put it where it's meant to be, and remove the name of the authors from the actual. Okay, so these are ways to actually go about it. So that's that. So in this case, you can see I cited quite a number of literature. This is actually a systematic literature review of a part of the topic in question. So what I just do is directly input, just cite the reference in front of the information. So it can take different forms, but preferably I would suggest that you should always try as much as possible to write your sentence in a way that you can cite at the end of the sentence. Now, that is that. So if I want to change the, let me save this as save as a copy training. Okay, I saved as training already. So if I want to change to a different style of referencing, I already referenced now, but I discovered that, oh, the journal or the school has a different style of referencing. So what I would do is I'll come to citations settings, and I would look for the citation style. This paper was submitted to this journal, so that's why this is appearing. So for example, if I want to use IEEE, I just come to search for IEEE. So IEEE. So I'll click on IEEE and update the citation style. Now, before you update, it gives you what it's going to look like. This journal uses number, and this is how your reference is going to be displayed. Okay, so update citation style. Now, if you observed, those citations, not all of them, some of them have changed to numbers. Now, if you observe, the ones I modified myself, they didn't change because it's a modified version. So what I would do is I will click on it, the reference, then I'll tell it to revert to the default. Once you do that, then it will ascribe a number to this. Save changes. Now it ascribes the number 14 to it. So the same thing also, because I modified it, I need to revert it to the default. Okay, so what you do is you just have to take the pain to go through. Okay, everyone, just like this also, I modified. That's why it's bringing it this way. So I'll just click on the reference, revert to default, save changes, as much as you have within the body of the paper. You can look at this now. It has changed everything to numbers, which is quite beautiful and easy. So I don't have to start racking my brain on how to go about that. Quite a number of them. So it has changed most of them to numbers and okay, I would check. Okay, to change the style, can I repeat the steps? Okay, yes, of course. What you just do is usually when you sign into your Mendeley site, this is what you have. If you want to change the styles, you come to citation settings, okay? The current style is IEEE, right? Now I want to change from IEEE to APA, that's upper. So what I'll do is I'll click on this. Why is it hanging? Citation settings, change citation style. Did you see that button? Change citation style. Once you click on it, it brings a whole lot of options. Now, I don't want to use any of these ones. Let me look for another style online. Can anybody suggest maybe any style or something? Anyone, can you just suggest a style of referencing or maybe a name of a journal? Anyone to suggest maybe the name of a journal or something? Okay, let me try Journal of Chemical. Now look at it, Journal of Chemical. So it brings everything that is related to chemical, blah, blah, blah. So let me, okay, I'll just, let's use this for example, Journal of Chemical Biology. So once you click on the journal, it shows you the citation and referencing style for that journal. It uses a numbering system, and this is what the referencing is going to look like. Okay, let's look at another one. This one, it's also numbers, but if you observe, the numbers here are not enclosed in brackets. So it's quite different from the previous one. So let's use this for instance. Update citation style. Yeah. Okay, maybe what I'll do is I'll take an example for Springer, I'll take an example for Elsevier, and I'll take an example for maybe Willy. Okay, now if you go through again carefully, you see this is the citation style for that paper, 1 to 4 as a superscript, sorry. Smazarewski, 14, blah, 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 7 to 13 as a superscript. Now let's look for another style. Let's say search for another style, Springer. So there are different types of Springer. You have the Springer Basic, the author date, no et al, author dates with issue numbers. So for me, basically what I do is I look for the journal and I try to check if it's within the styles. So I'll just pick this for purpose of learning. So this is the citation format for this. It is the name et al, and it's going to appear this way in the reference. So if I update it again, automatically it's going to change everything. Yep, we have it again as it was in the beginning. So we have this again. You need to take note of these ones. If your citation is at the beginning of the statement, you might need to modify this to make it look like it's meant to be. So I'll just delete that. And okay, I hope that answers the question. Okay, so that's
yes,
that now.
Definitely.
All right. So the next thing we want to do is, okay, now I have cited, I want to have a list of my references. So usually you come to the end of the paper. I'll delete this. You come to the end of the paper where you want to put your references. So once you put the icon here, you go back to, okay, citation settings. You come to these three dots just beside citation settings and you insert bibliography. Insert bibliography. So if I insert, it's going to question me. Your bibliography will be inserted at your cursor location. So make sure your cursor location is just at the point where you need it. For example, if I put it here, maybe within the test, it's going to generate it here. So usually what I do is I just come to the end here and continue. So very fast, it updates all the citations, all the references, just at a click. So you have all the references here. And for this, I think it arranged them alphabetically. And that's why my name is appearing. But if you use something like, let's pick an example. Let's Elsevier. Search for another citation style. Elsevier. Yep. So Elsevier, they have different types. They have the Vancouver, they have the Harvard. Let's use the Vancouver, for example. This is what the Vancouver looks like. It's also a numbering with, so I will update the citation style to that. Did you observe the change? The references has changed based on my citation style. Initially, my name was the one coming as the first, but now it's a different article. That's the first cited article in the paper. That's the one that is coming as the first one. So that is how to go about it. Now, there are instances whereby the citation style may not be in your Mendeley. What I'm saying is, okay, when I come to this part, after searching, I couldn't find the style I want. So there's a way to go about that. There's a way to go about that. I will share the slide. So if the citation style is not amongst the list of the citations, the styles on Mendeley, there's a way to go about that. You can install the citation from the Mendeley website. So how do you do that? It's very simple. You would go to this website, csl.mendeley.com. csl.mendeley.com. Yes, csl.mendeley.com. The link has been sent to the chat box. Now, on this platform, you have a whole lot of citations, a lot. So what you do basically is just follow the steps. Number one, you find the style. Number two, you edit. And number three, you use the style. So when you click on, for instance, I want to search for soft computing. That's a journal. Now, it gives me two results: applied soft computing and soft computing. So for me, what I want is soft computing. So I would pick soft computing. Once I pick soft computing, then it takes me to this area. Please pay attention to this. What you do is you copy this link, right? You copy this link and you come back to the Mendeley environment on your Word. You see this option, add a custom style. Once you click on it, it tells you to provide a URL for the link. So the link you copied from here, that's from this place, just copy the link and paste into this place. So I'm going to do that now. So this is for a scenario whereby the citation style is not pre-installed in your Mendeley. So you can actually install it by yourself. So you go to csl.mendeley. So let me use another journal, American. Just search for something American. It's taking time because there are so many journals with American as a word. Okay, so we have American Medical Association, American this, blah, 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 blah. So I pick one, for example, I pick this, American Journal of Physiology. American Journal of Physiology. So what I do is I copy this, copy link address. I'll go back to my Microsoft Word. I go back to the Mendeley site, I then just paste it here. Update citation style. So it is updating. Now, do you observe the change? It has changed the citation to that style. So this you can do for a lot. Now, there are situations whereby if you want to be more specific, you can actually edit the style. But this session doesn't really cover that. And I don't think for most people, you don't even actually need this because it would require that you have to write some codes and all that. We just want to use a Mendeley for citing references. We don't want to write codes about Mendeley again. But if you are interested in actually learning more about this, probably we could have a one-on-one session and all that. So you can write some codes. I go to the code editor just to format certain information about, you want to be specific. So you can write some codes just to alter some things. Citation frame, I can change this to alphanumeric. And you can just play around with this. But for me, I don't really suggest that for most people. So usually you will always find one that actually meets your needs. So just go ahead with that and use it. I think that is basically how to create personal citation styles and all that. Okay, so creating personal, yeah, you can create personal citation styles. So at this point, I don't know if we have questions, or let me ask, so far, how many of us have been able to download and install Mendeley? Maybe we can create a poll for that. So if you have been able to install and download, just signify on the chat box. Done downloading. Okay, all right. Done downloading. So I want to believe we have been able to install as well. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the response. All right, okay. So are there challenges or maybe difficulties or some things that you would want me to explain We have about, I think, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Are there things you want me to explain? Areas of difficulties, challenges, and all that? We can switch off. We can switch on our mic now to interact if it's convenient for you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Abdul. I think your knowledge of Mendeley must have improved in the last 1 hour 30 minutes, thereabout. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much for joining the session as well. Okay. Okay, thank you, Fidaus. Thank you. We still have 10 minutes. I think the other thing I might want to, if you are using other platforms like EndNote, you may want to switch, and it's quite easy to switch. Okay, let me go to Google Scholar. Usually when we look for literatures on Google Scholar, when you come to this part of Google Scholar, that's the Cite button, it gives you some option, more like it's asking you, okay, do you want this citation in BibTeX, EndNote format, or RefMan? So you can, using Mendeley, you can import this citation as it is from Google Scholar. So just click on this, any of this actually. Or let me go back. This is a little bit more advanced. Okay, maybe I just use EndNote. So by clicking on the EndNote, it creates a file for me, scholar.endnote, blah, 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 in my downloads. So I can access this citation through Mendeley. I just come here, Mendeley. I try to import library. That's another way of importing. So downloads, custom files. So these are more like added information. So you can that's another way of actually downloading references. So I think let's say the journal is from Scopus or any other platform. How do I import? Yeah, the first thing is you need to know the name of the journal. Once you know the name of the journal, just go through this process. You come to this place, tools, search for articles online, and just put in the name of the journal here. Once you put in the name of the journal here, you search, and it will bring up options. It doesn't really mean whether it's Scopus or SJR or ISI. Once you know the name of the journal, just put it in this icon and search for it. It's going to bring out information about the journal. So that's how to go about that. And you can easily add to your library. All right. I think I want to say thank you very much for your time. It's been a wonderful time explaining and trying to help us to understand how to use Mendeley. Hopefully, I hope that going forward, you would continue to use and you'll find it more interesting. So at this point, I will hand over to Dr. Vicky, who is going to give the closing remarks for this session. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Abiola, for your wonderful session, for sharing your expertise. Okay, whereby this question just little bit add on Nazila question. Basically, Scopus or any other website that we actually mentioned, they are actually database. Okay, so like Scopus, ISI, or Clarivate and everything, these are actually database where we are actually going to read our article or where later we are going to publish our article. They are actually collected in the database. So basically, Scopus is just a platform where you will find the research paper, and to make it into our library, we just like go to Google Scholar or the journal website, everything. So we are going to find it there. And for the referencing style and everything, journal always have their author guideline. You can also go through there to check which referencing style is important or mandatory for them. Sometimes the journal do reject the paper because you are not following their proper referencing style. So that's the basically truth, and that is the importance of today's session, especially Mendeley, where you will feel the interface is user friendly and you are not facing that much trouble even in changing the style or putting a lot of information, database article, everything in your that thing. So definitely it's not just the Mendeley only. We can help you in writing your paper. We can help you to find the right paper, right journal to publish your paper. Okay, and we can help you to make your paper more beautiful in terms of reading for the editors to get accepted. And we are actually having a lot of services, as I mentioned earlier, and you can reach us at any time. We have our database, and we already start sending you early morning the link. So that's our official number. You can contact us anytime. And we will be also organizing a lot of sessions, how to find the journal, how to prepare your manuscript, and how to proofread and everything. So a lot of sessions will be upcoming. Um, Probably you can join our WhatsApp community also. I believe that you guys are all there. If not, I'm going to drop the link. You can also join through that link. Easy for every one of you to get the future updates. Okay, let me share. Oh, yes, the most important thing, you can have the feedback for our today's session. That is very important for us actually. Let me share on the screen. Okay, most of them, they were asking me about the recording and the slides. Definitely later on after this, we are going to send you the recording and the slides and your certificate, definitely. So we will be keep in touch in that regards. Let me share my screen so that you can scan the code and give your feedback. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so this is going to be the feedback link. I will also paste in the chat box. Okay. Okay, so you can click here on the link I just put in chat box, because we are going to later generate the certificate for you guys. So make sure you are giving the right name. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. We will meet you in another session very soon. Okay, and the most important thing also, if anyone need assistance in RSM, response surface methodology, which is an optimization software, we also have an expert, Abiola, also expert in optimization. you can contact us anytime for RSM sessions. We are also interested to give one-on-one session if anyone needs. Just contact us through our number. Okay, thank you so much for joining the session. Bye, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.